Hi, this is Marvin Nichols, Miss GSU 9192, and Coach Hugh Jackson. Every week, it's the coach and the queen on the scene ready to talk about Grambling State football. Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good, Marva. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Let's cut to the chase. We're coming off of a loss at Jackson State, but I must say, our young team showed up grown in the first half, silenced their fans, and had the commentators confused. I believe it was predicted we wouldn't even score. Tell us what you saw the first half.
Marva, I saw a team that came out prepared, ready to play. Still had our hiccups in the first half. We turned the ball over second play of the game. Penalties has still been an issue. And we played them toe to toe. The game was 21-17 at the half. Could have easily been 21-21, but it wasn't. They had a lot to do with that, and I give them the credit for that. But our team fought. But that team that day were better than us, and I take total responsibility for all of it at the end of the day.
Absolutely. But let me tell you, again, we made some mistakes, like you said, at the top of the first half, and Jackson State capitalized and scored. But our players had a never say die type of focus, and our offense executed an amazing play by G-Man RB Maurice Washington and broke and juked the Jackson State defense for a 73-yard touchdown to the end zone. I was screaming, "Run, baby, run!"
Absolutely.
What was it like watching that play from the sidelines?
I know it was awesome. When you put these plays together and you draw it up and it happens just the way you draw it up, boy, that's the exciting piece of football for us coaches. There were several other plays that we had chances to make. There was a play to J.R. Waters. There was a third down play. We thought that he was interfered with. The officials didn't think so. Those things are going to happen. That's football, but we had our chances in the first half to really, take the lead. We really felt, and we just didn't take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And after those two mistakes or hiccups, as you say, our defensive end, Sandiata Anderson, I like his name.
Yeah.
I think I think the commentators do too. But Sandiata Anderson sacked Shadur Sanders, and Brian Powell scooped up the rock and ran it into the end zone and tied the game. I had my let's go spirit on. I'm like, yes. We had JSU in shock, I believe, Coach, going into the half. Can you share with us what the atmosphere was like at halftime in the locker room?
I really thought our guys were fired up. I think they were excited that the plan worked. You mentioned offense had a plan, defense had a plan, special teams had a plan, and it was working. Maybe not, just exactly the way we wanted it to, but our players could feel and see that they were prepared. They were put in the right positions to go make the plays that were there to be made. And we needed to do it even better the second half. And what I talked about is that it was 21-17. They were getting the ball first, and we needed to get them 3 and out. And then we needed to take the ball and go score, but obviously it didn't happen that way. That's football. That happens. It doesn't happen the way it's a game of momentum. Jackson State took the momentum back. We couldn't wrestle it away from them, and then it got away from us. And that's what was disappointing for me.
Yeah, I think all of us were disappointed because we saw something that we didn't maybe expect to see in our younger team, especially with all the hype around Jackson State. And, we were listening to all of the predictions. And so I get what you're saying. And it had to be just mind blowing to a certain extent, like what happened. What were you thinking on the sidelines?
No, Marva, I was in total shock and disbelief. And so I'm not saying anything to you that I didn't tell my team.
Okay.
We had fought so hard to get to the position we were at halftime to watch us not look like the same team in the second half. I needed to figure that out as the head coach, as our coaching staff, because as I said to you on several of these podcasts, we have not been the same team the second half. So I have to go back and look at everything. I have to go back and look at what the nutrition at halftime, proper rest, proper meal, just everything. That's what you do as the head coach. You go back and you search and you look and you try to figure out what it is that is not letting us continue to play as strong or with so much passion and energy in the second half as we do in the first half.
Absolutely. It's very important because we want to finish strong. Want to finish as strong as we started. And Coach, I love that about you. You're so transparent and you're honest. And you mentioned that in the previous podcast that we had last week about being honest with your players, honest with your coaching staff, and just honest with the fans. And so we know that coaching is a result-driven business. And so tell us, what are some of the results that you're seeing from the changes you've made and the adjustments you're making week to week? And how do you think that is impacting your ability or our ability to win?
Marva, I'm really about process and routine. And so sometimes processes need to change and sometimes routines need to change. And I had to go back myself on the trip back from Jackson State and really walk myself back through everything that we did. We changed some of the routine because of the situation with the water, that there was a concern. So we left a little bit later. We got away from our normal routine. We had a guest speaker who I think was sensational. And I think the players really enjoyed that last week. We stayed in an unbelievable hotel. So I think there's a lot of things we're doing right. So I'm not going to fault anything for the things that are right, but where can we understand this at a higher level? These players only have so much energy. I wanted to make sure we were hydrated. It was a warm day. Maybe we could have been a little bit more hydrated than what we were. Not that I think we weren't. I think there was opportunities for our players to drink and have water, Powerade, Gate, whatever it is that we needed. That has not been an issue. But it was hot. There was stress. We have a young team, and your body only has so much energy. And so I have to do a great job of making sure that I am preparing these guys for 4 quarters, not 2 quarters. That's the only way it is. It's a 4-quarter game, and it's what I've known it to be, and it's what they've known it to be. So somewhere, and that's just being very honest, we have to do it different. And so this week it's been different. And I'm going to try. Look, nobody's going to work harder at fixing this than myself and my staff, and these players. We talk about it. We're very transparent about what we need to do and what it should look like, what it should feel like. They knew they were in that game in the first half. They knew they had a chance. Yes, and at some point in time, with the coaching staff and our players, you gotta will it to happen. You got to make it happen. And I don't get to play. The coaches don't get to play. They do, and so they followed the plan in the first half. Not that they did not follow it in the second half. I just felt like the better team on that day was Jackson State. And so we have to grow from this. Not that we're not disappointed. We are, but you have to learn, Sometimes you lose, you learn, right? And we don't like losing, but I think we learned a lot about who we are, what we are, and what we needed to do this week. And I've always seen these guys, they're very resilient. They listen because they want success. I don't know any young man that's going to go out there and not want success, but they have to understand the price that you have to pay to get that success. And so we paid it this week, and we paid it gladly. And I think hopefully on Saturday, because like I tell them, all it does is give us an opportunity. It doesn't mean you win. It means it gives you an opportunity to win. And you have to have that mentality every week. You got to pour everything you have into it to give it your best shot.
Wow, that was amazing. I think I'm going to make a clip out of that. I think that everyone saw our potential, our potential to win and to be a great team as we are building, or as you are building the new Grambling State University football program. Now, Coach, I want to ask you, how are you building and nourishing the G-men to have a champion mindset?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is create the right environments for them, right? And Marvin, like I said, I don't run from anything. We lead the league in penalties, whether rightfully so or not, doesn't matter. we've earned that in 3 games. We've earned the 1-2 record. And so we have to understand what we have is what we've earned. If we want to change it, we have to change. We cannot continue to do what we've done to get the results we've gotten, because that's what it's gotten us. So you got to pivot, right? You got to turn away from some of the things you've done. You have to understand the things that don't let you be successful. And sometimes with these young men, you have to ask them to do more, to sacrifice more, to want to be in that winner's circle is a price you got to pay. And I'm asking them to pay a higher price than what they've ever paid. And so to a man, I think they get it. I'm only going to be able to judge it by how we perform this weekend, because here's another opportunity. We're going to walk back out there on Saturday. We're going to swing, and we got to swing for 4 quarters. And if we'll do that, and we'll do it the way I think it should be done, we have a chance. But we have to do it that way. There is no other way to do this.
No other way. And speaking about Saturday, tell us what, I know you've studied Bethune-Cookman. What are some of their strengths?
Oh, wow. This quarterback is dynamic. He can run, he can throw. They have some extreme athletic talent on their offensive football team. Defensively, they run a lot of different schemes. They're 4 down front, but they can morph into a 3 down front. They play man coverage. They play zone coverage. So it's a tremendous challenge. I mean, every week you're going to play someone who has something that has a strength about their football team, right? Our players understand that. We talk about the team. We talk about the things that are important. Probably the thing I was most impressed with our team about last week, as you said, that team had been scored on, and they had sacked every quarterback multiple times. We gave up 2 sacks in that game, where teams before them gave up 8, 9. So I am. They're hearing me when it comes to certain things, and there's certain other things they got to hear me and the staff on, and I think they will. But at the same time, it's a battle. It's like anything when you're trying to move into a whole different era. You got to step out of the other one, and sometimes that's frightening for people. But at the same time, the reward is on the other side, and so we just got to keep pushing through. And these guys, they get it, because they want success. They understand where Grambling should be. And I'm not going to do anything to not make us get there. I promise you that.
I thank you for that promise, and I'm going to hold you to it.
Absolutely.
Now, you're talking about a fight, swinging. Are we in a boxing match, or is this a football game? Are you going to do a jab, left hook, or right hand? But we know that the fight is really on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about our offensive line and our defensive line. Give us an assessment of how do you think that they will do this weekend, or what do they have to do to give our quarterback time to launch the football and to make big plays for Grambling?
Marvin, you said it, and I'm probably not going to go as deep as maybe you would.
Don't tell them all our secrets. I told you,
I'm going to say this to you, Marvin. Fight is in the heart. The fight is in the heart.
Yes.
It's in the will and understanding what that G really means and what it means to wear it. And to me, I've probably spent more time having our players understand the history, the tradition, the people who have come before them to lay the foundation of what wearing that G really means. And to me, we have to earn the right to wear that G. It shouldn't be just given, because there's a lot of people that paved the way for us to wear that, to represent Grambling State University. And there's certain things that are just no-nos. It's non-negotiable to me. And I think our players are starting to get that and understand that. And it's a demand from me and my staff to them that this is just how it's going to be done. And so turning that corner, sometimes those corners they got some sharp edges to them, and you got to smooth them out. And I think we're slowly smoothing them out. But at the same time, I'm appreciative of our football team, because they allow me the chance to show them what greatness really is going to look like and what it's going to take to get there.
I've sat around some of the G-Men alumni, and I can remember hearing them talk about at one time they were playing unlike G-Men, and Coach Rob took the G's off the helmet. I was like, yikes. That had to be weird because that helmet to me is the most beautiful helmet in the SWAC. It's just classy and it just speaks volume. It's simple, but it's classy. And so you saying that they have to earn that G, that means a lot to me. And I'm sure it means a lot to the G-Men alumni because there's so much pride around our program and even what Coach Rob built and the others after him. And now it's your era. And I appreciate you saying that and instilling it in our young men who play football for Grambling. So thank you for that. Now, let me say this, Coach.
Mhm.
I'm going to do something a little different this week.
Okay.
Before the pregame meal, like in church, we have church announcements. Well, I'm going to do some HueDat announcements before we wrap up. So I just want to commend you, first of all, on how you respond on media platforms and outlets with clarity, transparency, accountability, and class. And hats off to you, HueDat, for being that for Grambling State University football program. In addition, I would like to acknowledge all of our Grambling fans and G-Men parents who attended the game last Saturday. Some of them, flew in from California, and so many canceled. When so many canceled their trip to Jackson, those who attended on our behalf from near and far, I just want to thank you for standing in the gap and repping GSU. Coach Jackson, would you like to give a shout out to our fans that showed up
Oh
in
my
Jackson?
God. Barbara, I was so encouraged to see so many people, so many Graham fam people there in the stands, cheering for our student athletes, their sons, cousins, friends, whatever it was, standing behind these young men. I can't say enough about it. All I can promise to everybody is we're going to get this right. And I never said it was going to be easy. We never said, boy, it's just going to just walk and just fall in our lap the way we wanted to. But I assure you this, keep coming, keep supporting these young men. They're going to give it back. And I got to continue to wrap my arms around them, let them know I love them, I care about them. But at the same time, I have to teach them what it really means to be a G-man. And I've had to go through that baptism myself. There's a lot of reading. There's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of things that have been said to me that stick with me because there are some great people that have come before my staff, myself, this football team to lay the foundation of what Grambling State University football really is. And we have to understand it at even a higher level than I could ever imagine because that's what it is. It's greatness.
Yes. The G stands for greatness. And Coach, I just love to hear you talk about your passion for Grambling. Although you didn't attend Grambling State University, every week that we talk, your passion for Grambling continues to grow in the things that you say and how you express yourself about our legacy. And even our G-Men Nation, their motto is our legacy, our responsibility. And I just love that about them. And so there is a connection there. There's an umbilical cord to our current players via the G-Men Nation and other players that have played down through the years. And you coming on board and feeling that passion, reading about it, actually saturating yourself in the moment, and even on our campus, in our facilities. And trying to make Grambling State University football better. It just you're in. You Graham fam, man. You are Graham fam. So
Marva, I think it's important to earn that right. I
yeah,
really do. And as the leader can only lead if he wins. I get that. And that takes a lot of drive, determination, discipline, dedication to it because it's not easy. I think if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. I know I'm the right person for the job. I think I have these players starting to truly understand the corner that we have to turn because it's a corner and we're going to get there. And but I will say this: it still takes everybody. I still take all the Graham fam who want to support and donate and be a part of these young men's lives to continue to push. As you said, the G-Man Nation, they've been outstanding. They've created a mentorship program with our student athletes. That's just some of the things that others are trying to do to make these young men's experience better. But I know one thing, the experience magnifies greatly with wins. And that's the job we have to take care of. And we get that.
Yes, indeed. Winning is our tradition. And I know my message to our G men is you got BP, bounce back power. I
Mhm.
know that you can come back from the loss last week and let's win in Florida. And I also want to let Graham Fam know that the GSU Athletic Department has a 3-game ticket package for our upcoming home games for $76. You can purchase on site at the Hobby Center, at the ticket booth, online at gsutigers.com, or by calling our ticket office. You can get that number on graham.edu. All right, Coach. It's time. It's time. It's time for the pregame meal. Hey,
Oh,
it's
wow.
time. Come on, Coach. Let us know what's up. What we eat
Yeah.
this week?
Well, Marvin, this is an early game. So
All right.
this is a real early game. There might only be yogurt on Saturday morning.
Yo, good.
I'm at my best, Marvin, when I am a little on edge. And I want to carry the biggest edge that I can have this weekend. It is bounce back time for our players. We've worked, I will say, extremely hard this week on filling in the gaps. And I think we're going to represent um, the brand the way I think we need to start representing the brand. And it's taken some time, but at the same time, I'm just grateful and thankful for these young men because eventually they have to understand exactly what you're saying. You can talk it, when we're in training camp, but to see it now, as I see it and as they've seen it, is the mission's clear. I think the message is clear. So let's go see if we've learned our lessons.
Yeah, and that little yogurt, I know your nerves gonna be real bad. Your hand up, I was like, hey,
I'm gonna try not to get the shakes now. If I do, I might have to run in the stadium and ask for something.
like you say, hey, look, like James Brown said, it pays the cost. You got to pay the cost to be the
Yes, you do.
boss.
Yes, you do.
And let me tell you, I hear you, Coach. We hear you, G-Men. We are behind you, and we look forward to seeing you show up and show out in Daytona, Florida on Saturday. Everybody need to tune in. If you're going to the game, wear your Grambling gear. And Coach, it's always a pleasure to speak with you, talk with you, chat with you. You're my guy, you my boy. And we just have this wonderful, wonderful podcasting relationship. And I can't wait till next week because I know that we're going to have another great conversation. And with that being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And as I always say, it's all good, it's all God, and it's all Grambling.